Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. For this video, I'm going to do a how-to project share on this necklace because when I got the idea for this design, I didn't know if it was going to work. I had no idea how much cord I needed. I didn't know what knots I was going to use. And so I'm going to tell you what worked, what didn't, why I did what I did, and what I would do different next time, which is the most important. Now, before I get too far into this, I do want to let you guys know I'm having a hard time right now. I'm extremely stressed out. The hard drive on my laptop has broke and I've lost all of my videos and pictures. I do have some stuff saved on external hard drives, but not everything. So I'm thinking, because my computer, I did get the hard drive replaced in it, but it's completely empty. I'm thinking what I'm gonna have to do is go on to X and download my own pictures and put them up when I have to in videos. And also like, even though I got the hard drive replaced in the computer, it's still acting weird. There's still hardware problems where there's like blue lines and stuff going on the screen. I tried playing videos on it and there was no sound, and so there's just a lot of stuff going on. I'm probably going to have to get a new laptop, which really stinks because I cannot afford to get a new video camera. And if you've watched my videos, you know that I've been trying to raise money to get a new camera. And if you are able to donate towards the camera, I will have down there below in the description bar links for that, Cash App and Venmo. Alright, so I'm going through a lot right now, but let's get into this design. This necklace turned out exactly the way I envisioned it, but I had no idea if it was going to work out or not. And I thought, well, instead of wasting hours trying to film what my idea, maybe I should attempt to see what this is like, because I didn't know how much cord I needed. I didn't know what knots I needed to tie, and so there was a lot of playing around, but I actually did make it exactly the way I envisioned it. I wanted to make a tropical beachy looking necklace that I could wear with like a swimsuit cover up, either out with family or to like a pool, something like that. Okay, I wanted to make something very summer themed. And so I was blown away by the colors in this kit. And in case you don't know, this is a Soft Flex mystery design kit, and you can buy you can go see if this is still available. I will have links down there in the description bar. But this Nautilus bead here, it is the most beautiful ceramic bead I have ever seen. Look at the back. It's actually like an ammonite because it's cut in half like an ammonite would be. I got an email and I thought these were going to be like $8 or $10, maybe even $12 for this because it's so gorgeous. But it was actually $5 for this on Softflex. So if you're lucky, go there and look for it because it is an amazing piece. It is so beautiful. And so I had the idea for this necklace, and I'm like, well, how much cord am I going to need? And out of experience from previous knotting necklaces like this, I remembered that I did the rosary, the knotted rosary necklaces. And I thought, I think I'm going to do it like that. But of course, I'm not going to have a cross down here. I'm going to go into either this bead or this bead. I had two options. This is amazing. I love that crystal. The color is just so gorgeous. It really makes me think of the sun, like the sunset going down. And so I was going to do this here or the Nautilus. Now I was kind of iffy with the Nautilus at first because the one I got has a lot of pink in it. Can you see that? Now on the email when I saw the other Nautilus beads, a lot of them were more blue. So I actually ended up getting one that was more pink. So anyways, I decided to go with this just because it looks so darn amazing. And I'll go over my extras. So if you want, you could make a bracelet. Okay, these are all the orange beads, the transparent ones that I have left. And there's like beach balls and charms. I was going to do earrings, but I've had so much going on. Didn't really get to it, but I'm not really a fan of basic earrings. I gotta have, you know, something really fancy or special. So I went back to my rosary necklace that I made, and I looked in the description to see how much cord I used. And I have notes. I wrote down, as I was working on this, I made a bunch of notes, and I thought that I would tell you what I did And it was also for me because I sometimes forget what I did when I'm working on multiple projects or have other things going on. So I will read over my notes with you guys, but I thought, let's do the rosary length. So when I made those rosaries, I started with 12.5 feet of cord. And I have this thing with intuition. My mind actually told me, maybe you should do 13 feet. And I'm like, well, I think I had a little bit left over when I did those, and I went back and I watched my videos. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'd be okay with 12 feet. I'll use 12 feet, but my intuition was like, whispering, you should probably do like 13 feet of cord, right? And the cord is folded in half, so if you're thinking that's way too much, look how short the necklace is. The cord is folded in half to tie these knots, okay? So, the first thing I wrote down is 1 overhand knot uses 1/2 inch of 0.8 millimeter cord. And the cord I'm talking about is this here. This is like the biggest spool of cord I've ever found. I got this on Amazon. They keep having sales on this for like 10 bucks, but I think it's usually like 18 or something. Anyways, this will last you like 3 lifetimes. So you guys gotta go get this cord. I'll try and link it down below. If you don't see it there, let me know. I have a lot of stuff going on, but you can also go to the rosary tutorial and you'll find links for that cord in the description. It comes in different colors, but I feel like the coffee brown, I think that's what it's called, is really the best one because it goes with absolutely everything. So if you get one color, get the brown, not the black. Alright, now I also wrote that my finished necklace is 28 inches, okay, and that's just to here. It doesn't count this part. And when I try it on, it sits beautifully, okay? So again, I wrote down, started with 12.5 feet, and then I wrote down where I was at in my progress. I am halfway through the beads, so as I started knotting it, in the rosary design, I started with a 5-inch tail, I held that mark, I tied a knot, and the knot uses 1/2 inch. So when I tied the knot at 5 inches, I ended up having 4.5 inches of tail. Make sense? You can go back and watch that video. Okay? And so I started knotting. And when I got halfway through the necklace, which is actually this bead here, so I started tying here. Okay, I had my tails, one tail, and I knotted halfway through the necklace. And like, I should stop now, because what if I don't have enough cord? So I stopped and measured it, and I found out that I had 7 feet of tail left over that had no knots. And I used 5 feet 6 inches. 6 inches, 5 feet again. I had 7 feet of cord left over, and I used 5 feet 6 inches for the knotting. So I knew I had enough. I wasn't halfway through my cord yet. And so I kept going. Now, what ended up happening is I tied regular overhand knots. Okay, so an overhand knot is you go like this. You put the, actually I go like this is how I do it. Okay, and I pull the beads through. You'll see, you can go back and watch my tutorials on how I knot. I go like this, okay, and I bring the knot down. Now I'm not going to tie that all the way because I want to show you what I had to end up doing. So I realized that that knot was too small, and this cord is very forgiving. So if you tie a knot and you're not happy with it, use pointed pliers to undo the knot, okay? Sometimes I use like a needle tool, but you got to be careful because you can snag threads. Doesn't happen as much with the braiding, but if you're not careful you can. But it's a very forgiving cord, so if you tie a knot you're not happy with it, you can undo it. Now with these beads and these gold ones, they have big holes, so one overhand knot was not working. The bead would hop over the knot. So I was like, oh no, when I got to this point. So from here to here is a basic overhand knot, and then when I started getting to this gold bead, I'm like, that's a big hole, you know, it slips right over. So I undid the knot, and I thought, you know what do I do? Do I put a seed bead here, like an 8/0 seed bead here for that space? What can I do? I need this to be long. I want it to slide over my head without a clasp. And then I thought, let's tie a bigger knot, a double, at least that's what I think it is, a double overhand knot. So I have this little cord here. There were beads on it, but I just took the beads off and left it in my drawer, and I thought it'd be good to use an example. So overhand knot, again, I go like this, okay, and then I put the bead through the hole, okay, slide this down, And then I bring these 2 cords down. Now I have 2 beads in here, and I think I need to remove them because usually these would be slid far down my cord. Now what I do after that is I take my 2 ends and I put them through this little loop that I made, okay? Like this. So this is how I tie the double knot. Oh, it just undid on me. Okay, we'll do that again. Like this, put the bead in the hole. Okay, go like that, slide it down, and I have to go this way. That's what I did wrong. To this side to twist it. So if you look at it, I have to go this way. Okay, so I went through these 2 loops. This is how I tied the knot. Okay, like that. Now, I need the knot to go down, and this knot like folds and goes down. So I go like this, and I push the loops down. See that? Okay, push those loops down. Try to make it smaller, but push the loops down. And then you just go like this. Okay, one of them is longer, so all I have to do is pull that one that's longer. And there's my knot. That's a double knot. See how it's bigger? You could tell it's bigger, right? And then you take both of these ends and you pull it tight, and it makes a big wad, basically, of a knot there, and the bead cannot hop over because it's a large whole bead. And then I put another one on. Actually, it was the spacer. Okay, and I did that again. So you saw what I did. You can rewind that. Okay, so that's how I did the double knots. Now I only had to do them starting at this gold bead that had the large hole. And this is the first time I've done it like this before, so I thought it was pretty cool. So I did, you could see they're larger, okay, and I did them all around the back. Okay, and then when I got back to here, I was excited because it was kind of annoying doing it twice, and I started going back to the single knot. But something I realized when I tied the double knot, it was taking up more cord. So I told you that I realized that when I tied one overhand knot, it used 1/2 inch of cord. Now I never tested, so what you can do to test how much cord your knot uses is to take the cord you want to use for the project and decide, are you going to do a single cord or are you going to do double cord? Okay, measure your cord, tie a knot with it, and then measure the cord again and see how much of the length it used up. Makes sense? And so the double knot ended up using a lot more cord, so I ended up being really short on this necklace, and I was barely able to make it. Okay, so I finished doing both sides and I got down here. I just remembered that I forgot to tell you guys something very important. So when you get all your knotting done in the necklace part here, okay, and before you tie your 2 ends together, what you need to do is stretch your necklace out. So yes, we tied the knots tight, you know, we pulled the 2 cords to make the knot slide down, but your necklace will still stretch out some. And so what I recommend to do is about like every 5 inches or so, grab the end of your tail before you tie that big knot and you stretch it out. You pull, okay? Go like this. Pull. Pull it. Pull it. I do this with all the other necklaces I make, and it makes the knot tighter. And if you see how you can see the knot better when you don't do that. The knot is like actually barely visible. So there's some areas here where, see how this wiggles? And what it's doing is it's pulled the knots really tight, but it's also making the knots more visible, and it's actually adding more length to the necklace, which was very important to me because I wanted this to be a long necklace. And I was like, wow, I don't know if I have enough to use this. I might have to settle for this, or I can cut it up because and start over, which I've done so much. It drives me crazy. But to get the best results, it's worth it. And so I finished both sides, and I took both of the tails that I had left, and you know, I did one overhand knot, and I pulled the knot down, and then I realized that's not going to work because the hole in this is enormous. What is it? It's like 3-4 millimeter hole. It's huge. And so I realized I have to do the double knot again. So I did the double knot, which actually took me a couple tries because I was using 4 cords this time, but it made a huge knot that this bead cannot go over. So the knot can't go into this, okay? And then when I went to do this, I was like, oh my gosh, this cord is going to be swimming in this. This is going to be flipping, and it's going to feel flimsy and look terrible. And I thought, well, maybe I could put, as you know if you've watched my designing videos, put like 8OC beads inside with the cord going through it. And like, well, 4 cords are not going to fit in 8OC beads. I'm like, well, maybe if I do Toho, I'm like, well, I don't have Toho. And so I went through a bunch of ideas, and then I thought, I know, let's tie macrame knots that is the length of this, and see if I could put this over it. And I'm like, yes, that'll work, that will work. But I was like, let's only do half macrame knots. So when you tie like the right side over the center repeatedly, if you don't go left, right, left, right, left, right, that does a flat square knot, right? But if you just do one side, so if you just do the left knot on the top and you keep going just with the left side, it will make a spiral. But I'm right-handed, so I always do it on the right side. So I ended up doing the half square knot, which makes a spiral, and I was like, this is great, it's like a screw. I can just screw and twist this on. But it actually didn't work like that. I just had to pull pretty hard, and I got this on, and oh my gosh, it is so sturdy now. This doesn't flip, it stays in the front. Do you see that? And so yeah, I had enough tail. I was so blessed to be able to do that. I think I have a picture of it. Oh, so I'll try to put that up. But yeah, so after I got that on, I then tied the double overhand knot again, and I had a little bit of tail left. And look, I kept my tails because I just wanted to show you how extreme. Or did I throw them away? Here they are. This is the tail I had left for this project. Okay, I wrote down that it was 3 inches of waist. This side here had no tail. I literally tied a knot at the end of this with tweezers and chain nose pliers. I struggled, but I did it, and I burnt the end so they don't unravel. But I was not able to tie knots in between the beads. I mean, I could have done less beads, but I wanted this to be longer because I was trying to bring what was in the back of the necklace into the dangles, so it just looked better, made sense. So I just stacked these leftover beads, and I tied one overhand knot. But with this one, because it was still longer, I did tie an overhand knot at the top because there was a big hole there, because I had to fill that hole, and knots in between right here. You see those knots? I didn't tie one in front of the daisy spacer. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think I'm gonna have some issues editing, but I will try and do my best. So I love this necklace so much. It turned out to be amazing. I'm really happy about it. I love knotting necklaces like this. I would love to do more like this. You know what I should do? I should read over my entire notes so I make sure I didn't forget anything. So I wrote down when I got halfway through the necklace that I had 7 feet left, and I used 5 feet 6 inches. Okay? And then I wrote, after completing entire necklace, I think I had 22 to 23 inches of strung beads. Oh, okay. So that was something I forgot to write down as I was doing this. I strung the beads on, just in a pattern, and I measured it, and I want to say it was 22 or 23 inches. Wasn't totally sure, so I just wrote down 22, 23 inches. Okay, and then I wrote down, I had to tie double overhand knots because my bead holes were so big. Okay, and it says I tied double overhand knots in half of the back side of the necklace. So that was here, where this gold bead after the turquoise, the double overhand knots there, and it was just through these beads here because of the holes. And then when I got back, you know, to this, it's only 1 overhand knot. Okay? And it says, I was barely able to finish necklace, only 3 inches left on one side. Had to tie with tweezers, other side with tweezers. And then over here, this is what I would do differently if I did a necklace like this again. Next time I make a necklace like this, use 13 feet and leave a 6-inch tail. So with the rosary, when I made that, I ended up tying the cord back onto itself, and I did square knots, so I didn't need a lot of cord. But because of all the decoration I did down here, I needed more cord. Okay, and then I have a note here for myself. It says, there's some necklaces I want to make in the future with some nice gemstone beads that I got. So I wrote down, use this for Larimar nugget beads and citrine. Note, if I use both 16-inch strands, I will need more cord. Maybe do 2-side like my 3-color mala tutorial, purple, orange, blue. So that's the colors I did. So I did a mala tutorial where I had no idea how much cord I needed. This is way back when. And so I thought, well, let's do 1 side at a time. And so at the back of the necklace, I made these really beautiful, fancy knots. Man, I hope I can get a picture for that. I'm going to have to do a screenshot and show you what I'm talking about. But you can go and check that design out. That was a really cool project and something you can do if you don't have enough cord. If you can get at least halfway through the necklace in a design, then you can cut the cord for the other half. And so there will be a connection point back here with fancy knots, and then up here you'll have your pendant or whatever, dangles, whatever you decide to do. And this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this how-to project share. And yeah, if you guys can help with the camera, I would greatly appreciate it. If you don't know how, in the video you'll see the full screen button right here. It's a little square. You click it, the video goes full screen. Below that is a circle with 3 dots, and if you go there, you can donate to YouTube, and YouTube takes 30% of it. But if you want to donate and you don't want YouTube to take anything, I actually recommend that you donate through Cash App and Venmo. So down here below, when you scroll down below the little icons, you will see more. It's usually in bold letters. Click that and the description will expand and you will see Cash App and Venmo there. Alright, so this is it. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you click the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and follow me on my social media sites. I'm on Instagram, Pinterest, and X.